Okay, so let's move in and start talking right about the things that you would do at Stockton. So these are the courses that are required for all majors to graduate from Stockton. Everybody in your first year takes writing, in your first year you take math, and in your first year you take a first year seminar course in which you work on reading, speaking, writing, and research. And then sometime before you graduate, you do some kind of history, art, or music, ethics, or values, international, multicultural, exposure to social sciences, exposure to sciences, and exposure to arts and humanities, in addition, of course, to the courses you take for your major, which will depend upon your majors that'll differ for each one of you. So that's what you would do. And in your first year, it's these yellow things, writing, math, and reading and research. That's what you would do in your first year. I'm Heather McGovern. I'm a professor of writing and first year studies at Stockton. I'm currently the first year studies program coordinator. So if you have questions about placement and first year courses, I'm a great person to ask. Taught at Stockton for 18 years. I grew up and went to college in Idaho. I have 2 daughters and somewhat unfortunately, because the Flyers are not playing great hockey right now, I am a Flyers fan. Just a little bit about me so that you can kind of feel like I'm not just a unknown stranger you're spending an hour with today. First year studies has courses, that's the program I coordinate. That program at Stockton has courses in critical thinking and reading, writing, lower level math courses, and we offer small classes. We have select faculty, and we believe that all students can succeed. So that's kind of us in a nutshell in first year studies. We also have some courses called F designated courses. They're kind of freshman friendly courses, and those are across all majors. Those courses are not required for anybody ever, but they have reserved seats for first year students, and the new students meet one another in them, and the faculty members teaching them help orient first year students. That they're a kind of a unique feature at Stockton and a very friendly feature for new students. Those courses would include things like mass communication, sections of these, mass communication, hospitality and tourism management, women, gender, and sexuality studies courses, criminal justice, macroeconomics, Buddhism. So they're just across the curriculum, not something anybody is required to take. But if you're looking for a soft place to land as you transition to Stockton in the fall, or as you transition from your first semester to your second semester, those can be good choices of courses where you know that you have a faculty member who's really excited about teaching freshmen. Students in their first year at Stockton, actually in their first semester at Stockton, they take a first year seminar course. So all first year students take either a general studies first year seminar or a course called First 102 Critical Thinking and Reading. And these are photos from our first year convocation 2 or 3 years ago in the Performing Arts Center, where the author of the book that we read, that book was Trust Me, I'm Lying by Ryan Holiday. He came and spoke to students. Picture of first year students working together in a computer lab, and next year's first year reading is Between the World and Me by Ta-Nehisi Coates. We alternate fiction and nonfiction, and next year's a nonfiction year. In your first year seminar, you will meet other first year students. Everybody there will be a first semester freshman. You'll make friends and you'll understand and feel like you belong. You will be joined by a talent mentor, a successful student at Stockton who has participated in additional training and works as kind of a guide to help orient you to the university and the community, just a go-to person to ask questions and learn about things like, where do I get a good slice of pizza? Or how do I contact my professor if I have a question? Those kinds of things. Your first year seminar is also a chance to enter the life of the mind. You'll work on reading, writing, and research. You'll learn with and from other students. You'll do a common reading, and you'll attend first year convocation, where you can typically meet the author of the common reading. I don't know yet if that will happen next fall, but often that is what you do. Here's one of our first year students' comments about attending convocation. It was virtual, of course, in the fall, last October, but attending and meeting the author of Binti, which was last year's common reading. She said, I would continue to attend events similar to convocation today because I feel as if I was listening to a motivational speaker. A Cora 4 kept advising students to speak your truth loud and clear. You do not have to have everything mapped out, but be confident in what you do and do it. So that's a comment from a first year student last year. Most students choose their first year seminar course, and those topics include a wide variety of courses. There is a specific first year seminar course that students in nursing take, and a specific first year seminar course that students in the honors program take. So a couple of groups of students take a particular flavor of first year seminar, but most students pick from a list that would not fit on 3 slides. These are just some examples. Students who are placed into the critical thinking and reading flavored first year seminar also choose from among many course themes, and here are a few of those course themes. You can see that you'll be able to choose something most likely of interest to you as you start the university. These courses all count towards graduation for you. Here are some of the kinds of first year seminar projects that people do in some classes. Some classes don't have projects, they just have papers or tests, but in some classes you might work on a project, and that might be sharing an extraordinary claim in a poster session, collecting books to donate to a free little library, or completing an activity scavenger hunt. So these are the kinds of things you might do in your first year seminar. I wanted to take a break because I've been talking at you for a few minutes and do something that I do with my students sometimes, which is a who's who in Zoom. So if you feel comfortable turning your camera on and off, we will all begin this activity with our cameras off. So if you know how, down in that bar, you can stop video. So I'm going to stop my video for this moment, and then I'm going to list something. And if you've done that thing, you will say that then you'll turn your camera on. You won't say anything, you'll turn your camera on. So the first thing is, do you own a dog? If you own a dog, you can turn your camera on. And this is most exciting if you have a view where you can see the whole little gallery of people. So you can see everybody owns a dog, turn their camera on. There's a bunch of dog owners. I know you're out there. Yay. Notice I do not own a dog. I own 3 cats, so I'm not on right now. Okay, so if you're barefoot right now, turn your camera on. If you're barefoot right now while you're at home in the pandemic, and turn your camera on. This is apparently why there have been lots of broken toes this year. I had one in June. Okay, if you like coffee, turn your camera on. Oh, I like coffee. I have to turn my camera on. Liking coffee. Okay. If you speak more than one language, turn your camera on. Excellent. We have a few multilingual people. If you like pizza, turn your camera on. I'm not sure. Oh, there we go. I'm like, that should be a popular one. Usually that's a lot. You usually get lots of pizza lovers and dog owners. If you're the first in your family to attend college, you can turn your camera on. That's over half of our students at Stockton are first generation students. So typically we'll have a lot in a group. If you have a sibling, you turn your camera on. I have 2 siblings, turning my camera on. If you own a cat, turn your camera on. If you watch soccer, turn your camera on. Turning mine off, I only watch soccer when my husband makes me. If you play a sport, turn your camera on. Athletes among us. Oh, there's a nice lot of athletes, great. If you've chosen a major, turn your camera on. Because that's me. I finished college, I've chosen my major. And the majority of students have not, so it's okay if you don't have a major. If you wish we were doing this in person, you can turn your camera on. That's usually when I do this with my class. That's when everybody turns their camera on. Attending the orientation, maybe you're happy to do that virtually. Okay, thank you guys so much for playing. And then we'll move on to these other things. Okay. Writing. So I said that part of what first year studies does is writing. So depending upon students' placement and interests, they might be placed into first 1101 college writing. That is a course that has 20 students in it at the most. Or they might choose from a couple of different choices: rhetoric and composition, and an argument and persuasion based course, either related to the arts and humanities or the social sciences, or intro to research. So these are our most common first year writing classes. Over half of our students take college writing, and the other like 40% or something take rhetoric and composition, argument and persuasion, or intro to research. Some students come to us already with their first year writing credit from AP exams or transfer credits. So not everybody ends up taking writing. In your first year writing class, some of our goals are that you see yourself as a strong writer, that you learn to write in new genres and for multiple audiences and purposes, that you further develop your research skills. And sample assignments might be things like writing your own literacy narrative, outlining the major influences on your reading and writing and speaking practices. You might complete an analysis of a song or film. You might write an article to submit to the Stockton student newspaper. Maybe you would interview someone whose life has been affected by substance misuse and create a podcast story to share on a website with a local organization. So you might do all sorts of different kinds of things in your writing course. In addition to writing and your first year seminar, first year students all take a math course. Some students are placed via either your SAT or ACT or Accuplacer scores into first developmental math. That's the only course at Stockton that does not earn college credit. So we try to encourage students to challenge, continue to retake Accuplacer, study and retake it so that they only take that course if they really need to. If that's where their math skills are, then that's where they start, and then they continue and take first quantitative reasoning. Many more students, not very many of our students take developmental math, although a number do. Many more students start in quantitative reasoning, and that course prepares students either to next take algebra or next take statistics, and it also covers financial literacy topics like understanding car loans or student loans, those kinds of things. It's a pretty popular class. Other students who maybe their scores are a little higher on the SAT or on the Accuplacer can choose, depending upon their major, to take algebraic problem solving or intermediate algebra. Those are different flavors of algebra class of the same level of algebra class. For students in math and science and health science are going to move on to calculus. They're more likely to take intermediate algebra. Students who are thinking this is kind of my last class are more likely to take algebraic problem solving, but either one would prep for pre-calc. And some students take statistics, some don't take more algebra. They're going to move on in business or computer science. They want to take statistics. So some students do that. And in these courses, students might do things like explore COVID data and write to Student Senate with a recommendation about campus opening, or analyze data and determine whether to lease or buy a car, determine what grade is needed on a final exam to get a desired grade in a course. Those are kinds of problems students might work on. And other students start off at a very high level in math, taking pre-calculus or Calc 1 or sometimes even Calc 2. So we have students a whole lot of different levels and flavors of math depending upon your mathematical background, what you took in high school, and also depending upon your major. Okay. I give my students, when I send them homework reminders, inspiration themes with their homework reminder. So I decided this was when we needed a second happy break for me talking. You could read this amazingly inspirational meme. Okay. Our teachers, nationally, most of the kinds of courses I've just talked about, the lower level courses in math and writing, nationally, most of those are taught either by graduate students or part-time faculty members. Stockton is a little bit different. So at Stockton, all of your first-year seminar courses are taught by full-time faculty or staff members. And most sections of quantitative reasoning, algebraic problem solving, pre-calculus, and calculus are also taught by full-time faculty members. We don't have graduate students teaching any of these courses, and our priority is to staff our college writing and developmental math courses with full-time faculty. We do as much as we can to do that, and when we can't, we choose our strongest adjunct faculty to teach those courses, people who have many years of teaching experience at the high school and college levels sometimes. And many universities, first-year writing and math courses are taught by faculty who are in a math or an English department. But again, Stockton's a little bit different. So first-year writing courses and many of our first-year math courses are taught by faculty members who are in a dedicated first-year program. Faculty who love teaching first-year students so much that when they went to pick a job, they chose one where this would be primarily what they do. So I teach 6 courses a year in my normal load, and usually at least 4 of those, often 5 of them, are 100% first-year students. So that's the majority of what I teach and what people in my program teach are first-year students. Some of the kinds of comments the students give on student evaluations about their first-year studies teachers are things like this. They usually find us understanding, clear, charismatic, kind, and helpful. So this would be a comparison for those of you who like data between the percentage of developmental level courses taught by full-time employees at Stockton and that nationally. And similarly, students who take some of our lower level courses graduate at a higher rate than students who start in comparable courses nationally. The program we have has shown real success compared nationally. So many more of those students graduate. Some of the students who don't graduate from Stockton have transferred to another school. So it's not that they all didn't graduate at all. They just transferred to another school if they changed their major or moved. Stockton collaborates to support students. So first-year studies and academic advising, athletics, care and community standards, EOF, First Ospreys, military and veteran services, the Learning Access Program, the library, our Skills for Success program, our Student Success program, our Talents, and our Tutoring Center. We all work together to try to help students succeed. In fact, one of the meetings on my calendar tomorrow is with athletics and the Tutoring Center, Skills for Success, and the Learning Access program to talk about students who we see who are needing a little bit of extra help at this point in the semester, and develop a plan and then reach back out to them with, here's what we think would maybe really help you right now. So we collaborate all the time with emails and phone calls back and forth to try to make sure that students succeed. Our talents, those are our students, our undergraduate students who've already shown success in their first semester, their first or second year, and have sought out some additional training. They work with students in all of the first year seminar sections. This is a photo of the talents, I think maybe 2 years ago. Obviously not last year because they're not all in masks and social distancing. And we also have peer mentors in many sections of critical thinking, college writing, developmental math, and quantitative reasoning, students who were successful in prior semesters who join the class. They sit as a student in the class and serve as role models and support students through the course. So we use existing students. That's a student leadership opportunity as well that some of you may be interested in. And we've done some assessment. So we know that students really they find that their peer mentors are helpful to them succeeding. So that's a little bit about what you would take in your first year and some of the kinds of support services and philosophies that Stockton has.